Bulls picking up that first W. Finally. It just feels good to have it, don't it? It just feels good to have it, don't it? Bulls pick up the W. 115-107 over the Washington Wizards, getting their first win of the season. Did some great things tonight. Some great things. The biggest thing to me, improved in the areas that they had to improve on. We're not too hype on the W. We're not overly hype on the W. Why? It's the Wizards. They're a struggling team. They're a team that's also trying to find their way. Jimmy got soul. What's good, Jimmy? Elite Sports in the live. First of many dubs. Jonathan in the live. What's good, my boy? Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. P.Kidd is supposed to be pulling up. P.Kidd is setting up now, but I didn't want to keep y'all waiting. Big W from the Bulls, and mostly big because they continue to improve in the areas that they struggle. The Bulls have continued to improve in the areas that they struggle. And that is huge to see. That is huge to see. I think we saw some things from this Bulls team that honestly we might see moving forward more often than not. Really. I think we saw some things from this Bulls team that we might see moving forward more often than not. I look at what the Bulls did at the point guard position tonight, especially when Lauri Markkanen kind of went down to a little bit of injury. And that's something that we definitely want to keep an eye on. Hopefully it's not something that lingers. Hopefully it's not something that lasts long. We know that he's a little gimpy with that calf injury the night before on Sunday night. But I really like the lineup that they attacked this team with tonight. You had Sato out there with Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Pat Will, and a center, Wendell Carter or Daniel Gafford. I really like that. We got P.Kidd getting ready to hop in here as well. Let me know when you're ready, my boy. We'll go to you. But I really like what we saw from this team. I'm seeing improvement. Is it great? Is it, oh my God, we just beat the world champions. We just killed it. No, it's not. But we're seeing improvement. That's the most important thing. You have to continue to see improvement from this team. And we've seen that game in and game out. That's what having a competent head coach does for you. That's what having Billy Donovan in the room does for you. That's the difference that makes. Ladies and gentlemen, coming into the live, the Brody Bro, Mr. P.Kidd.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I good? You can hear me?
Oh, I hear you fine. You hear me?
We're good. We're good.
Hey, we are beautiful. We are beautiful. P.Kidd in the live, as Jay Crit like to call him, Pimp the Kid.
Hey, no petty casting over today.
No petty casting over today. I was hoping we saw him a little bit, but you know what? There was no need to be petty. Somehow he'll find a way to blame Matt Nagy for this win. You got to blame Matt Nagy for blaming Matt Nagy for the Wizards' loss on this one.
Let's see. What did we do bad today? Right there. No, it was actually a good game. A couple of things. Baki was good, my bro. a couple of things real quick. I don't know if you've got a chance to mention it, so I'll just hop right in if you don't mind.
Go ahead, my boy.
Now, let's call it the keys to victory right now. Listen, at one point in the third quarter, when I looked at it, we were winning, but we were winning in categories. We were losing in almost every major category. However, now when you look at it, take this away from, we have 7 people in double digits. We got one right below. So let's give them 8. Let's give them the 1. Give them 8 people in double digits. We limited our turnovers. When you limit your turnovers, guess what? Good things happen. You set yourself up to win. So guess what? We limited our turnovers, and I don't know whether or not this is just the officiating, but I'll take it because it worked in our favor. We kept our fouls down.
Yeah.
And that's really what got Washington in the hole early. Fouls. If you look at the stats, I always look from halftime and quarter to quarter. You go from there, they were in foul trouble early. Really, really early. And so because of that, we beat them in field goal percentage overall. Right. We nearly dubbed them up on the 3-point percentage, which was amazing to me. Right. But what did you expect on a Russell Westbrook-led team?
You know what's crazy though? I think the interesting thing that we need to take away from actually what we saw tonight was that Russell Westbrook was not taking bad shots.
No, it wasn't.
Russell Westbrook was killing Kobe White, and he was taking the right shots for him. I'm not gonna lie, seeing him for the first time, and we'll see him again on Thursday night. I'm not gonna lie, I can't be mad at what they're building around Russell there. I can't be mad at what they're building around Russell there, and I think that it'll breed more success than L's. You know what I'm saying? So Washington got that to look forward to, but they took the L tonight. That's what matters.
Hey, we beat them on assists and steals.
Yeah.
And so at that point, when you look at, who we're playing, we're talking about Mr. King triple-double himself, to lead them in assists, to lead them in steals, to lead them in turnovers as far as limited R's and, forcing turnovers for them. There's no way we could have lost this game, leading in all those categories and having 8 people nearly in 7 people in double digits and 1 nearly there. So, I mean, Great win, great all around. And I love the game-by-game adjustments. Each game we've gotten progressively better, and that's one thing. The one thing I will say, and you're not gonna like this though.
Go ahead.
You're not gonna like this. And people in the comments, let me know if.
Hey, listen. I think based off of what I saw, I'm gonna agree with you. So go ahead.
I think we need to give Sato more time at the point. Listen to this. Kobe did his thing, 18, 6, and 5, right? We played 37 minutes.
Yep.
Sato gave us 10, 6, and 2. Yep. He played literally half the time.
Yep.
And so with more tick, I think we could see, and the offense clearly looked different when he's on the floor versus when Kobe was there, right?
I'll say this. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, and I pointed it out during the live that it really speaks to Kobe when he thinks score first. That's his game. Kobe needs to be a score first guard. I don't care if he's at the 1. I don't care if he's at the 2. Kobe can score. He can just flat out score. He needs to be a score first guard. If you're in the live right now, by the way, like the video, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports weekly. Don't want you to miss a thing, so make sure that you hit that bell. He can score. And when he can focus on that, he's a better player on the court, and he's honestly a better facilitator. And so I think we saw tonight. Now, here's the part where it gets sketchy. We saw tonight that the offense definitely moved better when you had Zach at the 3, Kobe at the 2, either Temple or Sato at the point, and then you have Pat Will or maybe if you're going smaller, you've got another probably Thad Young in there as well when he comes back fully healthy, and then you've got Gafford or Wendell at center.
Which shout out to Wendell for the double-double.
Yeah, Wendell looks like he's getting out of his own head. But here's the scary part about what I'm saying there. The offense looked best when Lauri was not on the floor. Because you were able to have a real point guard on the floor, a true point guard who's done it in the sense that you guys speak about. You were able to have Kobe White being more of a shooter, which once he didn't have the ball in his hands and he was able to play off ball, he was torching him.
He looked good.
And he was attacking the mess out of the rim. He was like, come get me if you need me. Zach at the 3. I mean, Zach's going to do what he's going to do.
And he can't play the 3.
And he can play the 3 in this league. And so the offense literally looked best, which kind of scares me, which kind of speaks to maybe Billy Donovan trying to figure out what he has on his team, maybe AK trying to assess what he has on his team. It looked best to me when Lauri was not on the floor. It really did. Like that second half offensive output, and I like how Billy's doing it. Billy literally does not have Zach scoring in the first half. Zach gets himself going. We've seen it in the last couple games. Zach has got himself going in the last 2 minutes of the second quarter. Coming into the third and fourth, he's a scoring machine. But he's trying to get everyone involved in this game, and I think that the stat sheet shows that.
The interesting thing is, I do have to agree with some of the comment. Lauri, for one, I didn't think was going to play.
Oh no, Lauri played well. I'm not saying Lauri didn't play well.
No, what I mean by that is just due to the fact that he tweaked something last game. If I'm not tweaking, I believe he tweaked something.
Yeah.
And so I thought he was going to be on limited. Yeah, I thought he was going to be on real limited minutes. So to see him out there was good. And he did look good when he was out there. I don't know. It's one of those things where the only thing I could really I'll say
9 points, 4 boards on 3 of 8 shooting, 2 for 3 from the free throw line, 1 of 2.
How much time on the floor?
19 minutes. I mean, it's not great, but my thing is I can see him coming back in the second half and having a game like the rest of his team had. Nobody shot well in the first half. You know what I'm saying? So that part doesn't bother me as much. But like you were saying, he did play well. He was doing his thing. I just think that it moved smooth.
Yeah.
Like it looked the ball movement, the attention to detail looked more precise when literally everyone shifted down a position.
The interesting thing is I didn't focus so much on that as much as I focused on what Kobe and that Russ matchup was going to look like. Yeah. I was really interested in how he was going to handle it. He did exactly what I thought he would. He did more attacking. And a couple plays he actually gave it to Russ. But, Russ kind of returned the favor as well. So I was focused on that because I thought that would disrupt our flow.
Yeah.
And so I really can't sit there and say that I homed in on it. I'm not going to sit there and just make it seem like, oh, yeah, you're right. Actually, this is going to be something I look at because we have to play them again. Yeah. So because we have to play them again, I'm going to look in on that. But to kind of add to what you're saying and looking at what we have, I honestly think Kobe should be the 2, Zach should be the 3, and we have the length. I mean, Kobe's 6'5", 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
Zach is 6'6", 6'7". We absolutely can have that lineup and just see what it looks like. But not to take away from a great win, we dominated today. I don't know how much of that was the officiating or not. I can't really call it on that one, but you can't.
But the refs were bad.
The refs are bad.
The refs have been bad this entire season. Is that not because listen, refs get they're essentially getting reps in preseason too. You know what I'm saying? We've seen reps in every sport during the preseason be okay. Is that I'm hoping that that's something that improves because just from early in the season, what I've seen, these refs have been awful. I mean, Bertans went to the free throw line on 2 3-point shots that nobody touched him on.
Absolutely.
I mean, literally, like he landed on Chandler Hutchinson's foot by kicking his feet out on one of them. And the other one, just nobody touched him. And he got 2, 3. Like, those are big plays.
Yeah. I would say this, though. It worked in our favor, though, because we weren't in foul trouble.
Yeah.
For most of the game. So it worked in our favor. I will say I can't expect that to be a different case next game. You can almost bet on it that it's going to be a different case next game. But we take a win. I take the win, and I'll say this. There's a lot to take away from it. Obviously, we've got a lot of people coming out of their shell. I love it. I actually love the genius behind what Billy's doing, just letting them play, right? We haven't seen a lot of set plays and things of that nature, especially the first half of this game. I didn't see a whole lot of that going on, but it kind of cleaned up down the line. You can tell he focused on a couple of things. For one, the turnovers for sure. I think last game, Zach had 7 himself. Kobe had 5. So I think we only ended up with 14 for the game. Let me double check my stats on that.
Yeah, so, I got it right here. 14. Yep.
14 for the game. So that just says that, hey, we're being conscious of the turnovers. We're limiting those turnovers because we ended up with 24 turnovers like last game. Oh, this is an easy dub for Washington. They're going to capitalize on that. So that is, I love to see that attention to those little details there. Incremental improvements. We know what we're dealing with. This is an evaluation year, and I really I can't wait to see mid-season what we look like. I don't care if we're a playoff team or not. I just want to see how much we've come together and see what pieces we end up getting, because I do feel like a lot of these people are going to get moved, and I think some people know that. Like, I think they really do.
Yeah, I really like how Billy Donovan is improving. I don't know if he's going into this game telling this team to focus on something every game, but like you said, we saw the improvement last week, 24 turnovers. This week, or last game, 24 turnovers. This game, 14 turnovers. Now, still high, and I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of those turnovers were literally within probably a 2-minute span, because I think they had 7 going into the third or into the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one of those things where
those back and forth plays.
Yeah, just literally like, I think Kobe came down and tried to throw it underneath on one, and it was just very goofy stuff. You know what I'm saying? I will say one thing I need to see the Chicago Bulls improve on is in the paint. I feel like, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like that's an area where tonight and possibly on other nights we can see this as well, although there's not a lot of dominant bigs in this game like that play in the paint like that. But I mean, we were dominated not on the points, but just offensively. On the boards as well, but just offensively, it was too easy. We come away with 1 block tonight, and that 1 block was Daniel Gafford.
Let's be real. Our centers aren't the biggest guys, right?
They're not. They're undersized centers, but
they're undersized. So we're going to struggle against teams that have a great presence down low.
But I mean,
we really are.
This is the thing. Wendell's 6'10", but has a 7'6" wingspan. You can't get a couple blocks for me. And I'm not saying that he played bad. I can't. A double-double. You give me a double-double, I'll take a double-double every night. I will take a double-double in this NBA every night. But we need to be more fierce in the paint. There was a energy when Daniel Gafford got in the game in the paint that Bradley Beal went up for a layup and Daniel blocked the layup and then just like knocked him over.
Mm-hmm.
Just to let you know, hey, I'm here. Yeah, you got that foul. You was gonna get that foul anyway, but I'm here. I want to see that kind of intensity in the paint, because the paint has been an area where the Bulls early in this season have kind of been pushed around it. And I think that that's maybe the next thing that they should focus on, that Billy Donovan should have them focus on. Jonathan Washington in the chat, Billy did a good job cutting things early when it seemed like the Bulls were losing momentum, especially when the Wizard came out of the half with 2 quick, but absolutely.
That's a sign of a good coach right there. That's what that is. Yeah. A coach that knows how to control the game. That's what that is.
Because, Boylan would just be like, keep it going.
Jim Boylan trying to do his Phil Jackson impression. It's not working, dog.
Now you know what Jim Boylan remind me of. When you're playing like a video game and you got to hit the dialogue to get to the next part. Jim just be standing there on the sideline like ain't nobody hit the dialogue yet.
Leave it to you for a gamer reference.
Hey, you got to get them in there.
I think that's the only thing in this game, and it's unfortunately it's one of the things that we can address immediately.
Right.
Because our bigs are not big. Pause. Like they're not imposing figures at this point. And so realistically, when we have teams with your Jokic come through, I think Wiseman's going to have a field day on this team. Stuff like that. People who play their position well and athletic and can bang. Like, we're going to have some trouble with it. So I mean, it's not a perfect situation. But the one thing we can do is we can affect some shots. Our players are long. I mean, Kobe is 6'4", but he has nearly a 7-foot wingspan. What is it?
Let me see. I can look it up for you. You telling me something I didn't know, but I mean, it would help him when he was trying to posterize
really long wingspan. So we actually make it hard, and so that leads to forcing those turnovers, getting those steals, which we led in today. So I mean, you give up one thing, but we make it up in others. So we take the good with the bad at this point. And
he actually only has a 6'4" wingspan.
Well, I'm gonna need my man to grow some.
I'm like, man, is he? I didn't know he had a 7-foot wingspan there.
Yeah, my point guards mixed up. I was
Baki says in today's NBA, having two bigs on the floor at the same time clogs up the lane. That's why we see better flow to the offense. I never understood Garpax's infatuation with having two bigs. Well, you got to think that Pax comes from a generation where two bigs was the thing, and really.
Too big still is the thing. It still works. Like
I mean, well, I think he's saying two bigs who clog up the paint. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, because Lauri really don't.
it still works.
Yeah, it still works. It's just
Hey,
different kinds of bigs. They're just
if,
bigs that can spread the floor now.
if we're being honest, the Lakers got a lot of bigs over there just to do that one thing.
Oh yeah,
Clog
for
up the
sure.
floor. So
They literally built that team to face a Golden State Warriors team that they never faced. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Absolutely.
I really, not to get too deep into it, but I think the thing that we can take most from this is that this team is still learning. This team is not fully built. This team is not ready to take the next step right now. This is a learning process game by game. And the thing that Bulls fans should take from this, the thing that Bulls fans should really hold on to for this season is that they are learning. Mm-hmm. Last season, we saw mistakes compounded on top of mistakes, compounded on top of mistakes, compounded on top of mistakes. This season, we're seeing those mistakes. And then we're seeing Billy Donovan go into the post-game show and say, hey, we're going to address it.
Absolutely.
And then they address it. I think that's the biggest thing.
Change,
they address it. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's something that Bulls fans absolutely should hold on to, should look at to say, hey, listen, we've got something coming here. And like you said in the last post-game show, there's probably going to be some pieces that we don't see on this team next season.
And that's okay.
That are getting somewhere, and that's okay.
That's okay.
And I think one of those pieces is going to be Otto Porter Jr., but he gave us a game off the bench tonight. What did you see from Otto Porter that you liked?
Well, for one, he actually scored and did so good efficiently. How about that? I don't know if he gets moved, though. I don't know if he's the one that ggets moved.
I think the fact that he's on the last year of that deal, you get an expiring contract on your team, especially for a team that's trying to just unload some other pieces that are also expiring. I think you'll get a little expiring for expiring. Both teams can see if they see something in a guy. But I mean, this is the thing. If say the Bulls get to that point where they're a 9th seed fighting for an 8th seed spot, is that somebody you move? Because he's probably at that point a good part of your team.
No, I don't think he gets moved. If anything, I as much as I hate to say it, I think the only person that gets moved is Wendell Carter. And the reason being is because Gafford and Hutchinson look pretty good when they actually get the time.
Right.
Right. And I know that we're forward heavy, but at the same time, like I can see a package for Wendell and marketing being shipped out of there. But I think keeping, Otto is actually the right thing to do. If he can give us this consistently, then yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. And he does have the athletics to do it. For some odd reason, it just wasn't working. So I'll say kind of similar to what Jay Chris said in the comments. By game 30 or 40, we know who's doing what and who needs to go.
Yeah.
And so at that point, it's like, you know what? Let's see. But I honestly feel like a package for marketing and Wendell Carter Jr. is very possible because those are the bright spots. The capital, the social capital is kind of there. Wendell Carter Jr. is kind of waking up a little bit. Yeah. It's kind of one of those get rid of him while he's trending upward to see what we get back type things.
Right.
I don't know if anyone's making a move on I'm gonna call him OPJ from now, just because we've seen. I mean, how many years has he had in the NBA?
I mean, he's been in the league a long time, bro.
Yeah.
He's been in the league a long time. He got to be on year like 9 or 10 now.
He's only 27.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, yes. So probably coming in, what you thinking? 19. So what's that? Year 8? I'm not here for the math, but no. I just think that there's going to be a lot of learning, and this is going to continue to be a young team. Mm-hmm. I like the veteran help that we have. I think we're seeing Garrett Temple. Although, listen, Garrett Temple, if you can't get over a screen, my boy, stop being there. Because Bradley Beal took you off of the screen every single play, and you ran into every one of them.
Hey, listen, Brad Beal do that to like half the league, though. So let's give him some. Let's give him some.
But listen, go under the screen, at least get a hand near him. Like, I know you're supposed to go over the screen, but if you're not getting over, go under and at least get a hand near him because you're not there off of the screen at all.
Here's a conundrum, right? You can't say really young team and great defender against elite players at the same. They normally don't coexist at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone's coming in like Pat Williams trying to lock down people, right? And so when you say someone's really young getting beat on the screen by Bradley Beal, who was like one of the biggest all-star snubs I've ever seen, yeah, he's getting cooked. He gonna get cooked one way or the other. So let's just be glad that he got cooked. Kind of, sort of, like, let's just be glad that Bradley Beal didn't say,
But
yeah, he's
I'll tell you what, I'll tell you something that I saw that I liked. Garrett Temple playing the point guard later on in that game was not a bad look.
Man, I see that you keep saying somebody else at point guard. This is validating my thought that Kobe shouldn't be. I got you, my boy. I got you.
Listen, I want him to grow.
I'm gonna get off that.
No. This is the thing. This is the thing. I want him to grow, but I also can't look at what I saw tonight and not see that it worked. You know what I'm saying? I want Kobe to be the point guard of this team for the next 10 years. I really do. But I saw what we watched tonight and saw that it worked.
Next 10 years? Ooh, that's a strong statement.
Hey, listen. You drafted him 7. I want it to happen. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. I want it to happen. I want him to grow into be that point guard that we can look at and be like, yo, remember we was talking about Kobe White couldn't pass? He throwing dots out here. Look at him dropping them all. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I looked at what we saw tonight, and it just worked. Yeah. Garrett Temple running the point with Kobe at the 2 worked. Tomas Stadaransky running the point with Kobe at the 2 worked. And it worked well with Kobe at the 2, Zach at the 3. If you have something that works well, go with it.
Let's talk about, since we're talking about drafting, let's talk about the 2 draft picks. I was huge on Denny. I thought Denny should have been a pickup that we had. This is the first time we got to see them match up. How did you think they did?
I think Denny struggled early versus what the Bulls were bringing at him. I think he got beat up a little bit. I think that the Bulls kind of were able to take it to him. And then in that second half, I think he kind of figured out what kind of intensity was going to be set. And he adjusted well to the point where he was actually playing defensively well. He was realizing, okay, Kobe White's going to try to do a lot of dribbles. Let me get up into him. You know what I'm saying? Let me attack him more. I think Pat Will knows what he is right now. I think Pat Will knows what he is. Pat Will came out and he defensively was in Denny's face. Defensively, he was attacking Denny, struggled with the shot a little bit early. And then in that third quarter, he came to life. And I think he's still trying to find his full-on role with this in this system and find his leg.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, because it's really hard to sit there and say you got Russ, you got Bill, you got Bertans. How do you pronounce the young man's name?
Bertans.
Really putting up some points and getting that tick. It's going to be hard for him to find a consistent, shine consistently with that type of firepower there. I think this for Pat Will, the situation is perfect. We had no identity. We're still trying to find out who we are. And so this is a perfect time for him to come in and make a name for himself. The system, it's like the best situation for a young developing player, because the whole team is under development, right? As opposed to Washington, who's really trying to make a push to be elite this year, next year. So he really doesn't have that same wiggle room. But I will say 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, as opposed to 12 points, 2 assists, and 1 rebound. You kind of got your give or take right there, But on the court, and according to, I gotta give it to Jay Crit on this one again. Dude is not 6'9".
Who we talking about?
Denny looked like he's 7'1".
Oh yeah, Denny looked tall.
Denny looked huge.
Denny looked tall on the court.
Like he looked
look, either that or Pat Will is really 6'6". One or the other.
Somebody out here capping, because these dudes is not the same. Nah. But
I'll say this. I think that the rookies we are seeing right now, like we can be like, okay, that looks nice. Like James Wiseman, all right, that looks great. But he's also
a situation though.
Right, you know what I'm saying? He's also a 7-footer who's playing against more undersized guards to start this season than not, and so he's able to have that dominant effect on them. But I look at somebody like Pat Will, I look at somebody like Denny Avdia. these guys were absolutely affected. Maybe Denny a little bit less because coming overseas, you're playing a lot later into the year. But I know for a fact you can tell that Pat Will is just kind of figuring things out. And he's like, the thing that I like about Pat Will is he's not going to force it. He's going to say, I'm going to do what I do well. And I'm going to add everything else on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he does well is I don't care who's standing across from me. And we saw it tonight. He had Brad Beal on him, played excellent defense on Brad Beal.
Absolutely, definitely did.
He had Russ Westbrook on him, played excellent defense on Russ Westbrook. And
challenge.
He literally was just like, I'm gonna stand here and I'm gonna play good defense, and anything else on top of that is the cherry on top. And man, he does not. I want to see him on the court more. I think he gets pulled a little bit because the Bulls are still trying to balance that. We want to get the rookie some run. We want to get him understanding what's going on, and we want to win the game. I think tonight we saw more of okay, we got to get a W, though. We can't keep losing and learning. You got to start winning games. And so we saw him kind of out of the game at the end of that fourth quarter. But when he's out there, I mean, he straight bodied and out jumped Denny Avdia for that tip in rebound.
In the third.
That motor never stops with him.
And you know what? He's the type of player that a coach like Billy is going to absolutely love and utilize more. I can see that happening, and we've seen it in the other teams that Billy have coached. Players like him, they got consistent tick. So yeah. I'm not worried about that. I actually love the situation he's in. So shout out to the rookie for that, and shout out for rising to the occasion because, like you said, to have dudes who come up against a Russell Westbrook and don't get afraid, don't shy away from it. He's not looking for help. He's not looking for the help defense.
He's actually telling people to get the heck away from it.
And we've seen it multiple times. That type of mentality, that's what we need on this team. And so, you know, hindsight being 20, I have to say I was wrong on that one. I have to say that I'm really happy with the pickup that we have. I hope both of them have great careers, by the way. I always want to see someone do well, but at the same time, I'm really loving what Pat brings to the Bulls, and I can't wait to see his development over the years. So.
For sure. Bulls come away with the W. I mean, first W of the season. You got to love it. You got to love what we saw. Still a lot for the Bulls to improve on. But listen, it's a lot easier to say we got things to improve on when you win. It's a lot easier. But Bulls get the W 115-107. Anything you want to put as the cherry on top, Kidd?
No. Honestly, there's nothing I could actually add. We actually beat them points in the paint too.
Yeah,
it's interesting. The only thing I will say is I will say this: I'm really anxious as to what the second game is going to look like because now teams get to make adjustments, things of that nature. I want to see how this young team handles two veterans. I kind of pissed off that they just took a hard loss.
Right.
I want to see that, and this is the first time we have. Played a team with these two caliber people on the same squad. So I believe so, right? Play Golden State. Yeah. It's the first time we've had two all-stars, potential all-stars on the same team like that we face. So would really love to see it. I think it's going to be a lot closer. I think next game is going to be a toss-up because I'm expecting them to come out and adjust to a couple of things. Because remember, at one point we were up like 17, but we only won by 8. So it was garbage time minutes.
I was getting nervous. I was getting nervous.
That comeback was coming, and they started to actually shoot better from 3 and stuff like that. So that comeback was coming, and the only thing I really want to see is we got to get better at the free throw line. We missed 8 free throws, shot 75% from the free throw line. They shot 88% from the free throw line,
and it's killing me because I'm literally seeing. But you know what? Listen, it's something that we know they got to improve on. Let me see what they do in the next game. They've improved on something every game. Maybe Billy was like, we're going to turnovers this game, free throws the next. Look, we'll get a nice double header. Let's see. But I mean, it was in the first half. In the second half, they did much better at it. In the first half, it was bad. It was bad. Like, I saw Zach miss a pair. I saw Wendell miss a pair. In the second half, I saw Temple miss a pair. Like, a pair?
Both of them joints, huh? You couldn't even split it, huh? You couldn't even give me one.
I'm never going to be that dude that say, I can do it because you're supposed to do it and blah, blah, blah. But, bro, a pair, like, I can get one of 2. But
what's your prediction for
Thursday? Prediction, shout out to AD in the chat. Thursday prediction. I'm going to predict a Bulls W, but I think it's going to be much closer. But I think that Billy Donovan I think we're seeing now and it's weird to see, and maybe it's just because it's early in the regular season. Billy Donovan's better at adjusting than I thought he was, because on the if you watch my video when they first fired him, and I was like, I don't want him here. I was like, it's because he didn't adjust. He didn't adjust to what what other teams were doing. That's why he blew 3-1 leads. That's why that's why he struggled in the playoffs, because he wasn't able to adjust. And so he's adjusted, and this team has adjusted much better than we thought.
Absolutely.
And so I think that his adjustments are going to make a difference. I think the Bulls come away with a W.
Hey, W it is, my boy. I'm hoping that we get it. This will definitely show the growth in us, and I definitely want 2 W's before we play the Bucks, because that's gonna be a tight one. They just blew out the Miami Heat. Well, not really blown out, but they did set the NBA record for 3. So they look like
we getting though. What Bucks are we getting though? Because the Bucks dominate the Miami Heat, but also lose by 20 to the New York Knicks. Which Bucks are we getting here?
All I know is every time they come through here, it seems like they stomp on us. So I just want to make sure that we're either ready for that or we're riding on the wave. How about that?
Who do you send to guard Giannis? Do you send the rookie to guard Giannis game 1?
Who? Pat?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, listen, size and lengthwise,
you zone
got
that
him by a couple inches, but he got him by the arm length.
You zone that, man. I just want us to build up some momentum for those more powerful games. And that's a back-to-back. So we got to play the Wizards, which is Russ and Bradley Beal, and then go and play Giannis and that team just looking to make a name for themselves and reclaim what they lost last year. So I just want to build the momentum. So I'm going for a Bulls win. And hey, listen, if you got anything else to add to it, you let me know. But we got a tough schedule coming up after the Wizards, though. I didn't even realize how tough it was, man. Good Lord.
Definitely got a tough schedule coming up. Thursday, we probably will not do the live call, but Friday, we will definitely be in that mug for the live call.
We're definitely in that Friday. Dog, do you realize we got the Bucks, the Mavericks, and the Trailblazers?
Oh, yeah. It gets ugly quick. It gets real ugly quick.
The Kings is a gimme. Then we got the Lakers, the Clippers, the Celtics.
Yeah.
Good Lord, God did not like us this schedule.
Hey,
okay, all right.
It gets real ugly real quick. But Thursday, we probably won't be on. Friday, we will definitely be on for the call. Be on the lookout for that, and we'll be on for the post-game show as well. We'll have a podcast tomorrow at 8. We good? Yep. All right, cool. Yeah. Podcast tomorrow at 8. We will be live for that. Get in tune with that. P.Kidd will be talking with us about what he's seen from this Cubs rebuild. I mean, already.
Oh my God.
Breathe easy, my boy. White Sox Nation. And then of course, we'll be talking Bears versus Packers, and we'll be talking some Bulls as well. I am gonna get up out of here. Shout out to P.Kidd for pulling up to the live. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy, Pat, the designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bulls content. Click the links in the comments and description below. Y'all stay safe out of Chicago.